Mangane ayari koma Kuwayane Sisi Tivi Biro Yogi Lekambo Shaudina Yari Shawere Tati Shaudina Yari Shawere Tati Shitohere Tati Tarila Yikira The Kula Kauna Soloshi and Opanga the Titamari Pinas Raria play Ladora Niro Pero Teado Resura Nimigo Somo Ucho Nine Ucho Yipina Ucho Yichini Pira Todo Adi Ucho Yichina to Goshi Tama down the Robiabo Mamaka Nina level Robiabo Mamaka Woli Jojo said Yare Hoa Yojibiro Nale Yojibiro The Gego Coco Nene Ucho Sanari Pipia would take Yichiba. The little book of Yoma where Kikia Adolo Pipa. Dodolo Yodolo Kim Yonet, Dodolo Yodolo Joji Munet, Dodolo Yodolo Josa Munia of Yao. That day Yichiba. Don't you say you know the Yekle, cut it. Thinking of the Yanni of isolation. She does say Arthur to reach out before the teacher. I go to reach out before the Andre. The Yaya go, Jajan TV. You the bone says up for the check is on your man. They are two yellow.
When one comes to faith and acceptance through one's own personal knowledge, developed stage by stage, knowledge of things which are correct. This is faith and acceptance. And the courage to avoid doing what shouldn't be done, the courage to undertake things which should be done, courage which develops, always advances. This is also very important. So with these two factors of faith and courage, courageous effort, to have these two is very good, because later, with just these two factors, sati, samadhi, and panya will come. They won't just stand still. They will come for sure. They will develop. And meditation practice is to develop and bring to fulfillment the ability to govern oneself, to master oneself. But this is not something that we can ask for from a supreme being. And this is not something that one can get through an incorrect method. One has to understand and have faith in things which are related as cause and effect, and have a really keen desire or chanda to learn how to master oneself. This type of person can develop the practice, can develop the controlling faculties. If one just works haphazardly and half-heartedly, that won't be enough. If one has come to see directly how mind and matter, which are related as cause and effect, arise and then pass away very quickly in a fleeting manner, then simply continue to practice, because special Dhamma will develop for sure. For this special Dhamma to occur, one needs to practice respectfully and continuously, constantly. With these two, with respect and with continual effort, the special Dhamma will come to be.
Tatisa Kriya, Shivane Lama Sisabiro, Piliara, Buddha, Jauja Sakushi, Maria Pura, Chaju Juba Atoku. The same doy, Dima Lumi Juba Atoku. Since doy, Panda Yoga Juba Atoku. Juba Atoku, since she there. There are Bali, Arata Vidia Kova. Kelena Mitari, he took me up. Nilan the Chava, that we are Tomse, says Tella, there are Arata, significant, Juba Atokida, Uriya Yayahu, Uriya Tomse Yayahu, she do. Sukha Virati, Chandata, Niatate, Chandata Niaresra, Pina Asawari, Yamuri Moeno, Sika Shinia, Gyota Kayajari, Pomna, Anavisa Korava. Kili Sukha Upagasra Konju Pola River Ijanet already Eddie Ethiopia Taraga Poo with Opavaki Akusri down here Poo with Opavaki Papas Loga Moha the Nibu election. Toroli Nunu Jaza then team like Timmy on the Chilida. Never 50, Yaya 50, Timmy over 50, Papa, Masiha Masime, Nenega Nana, Yayi Nana, the Inara of Yoga, Papa, Utanjara. How could it tell me that Tashimi is sending back? A pure Muribo, a Muyari Tamasara. Tashimi is sending back of Tanza. The Aribon. Eradia. Poet kissing it, candy, saying it, needed it, one year. Chef and the Chesa. The Chinese introduction of Bama Amshi. Tavimelo. Tashim Shusine, lady, the Kunaku. She knows Sister Bobby is already the air. Our corner only so early 12. little Papa Akusra Dhamma, say only, Sukhavati Chanda than the other day. The great Chanda, Lurepo, Solution, Nimi, Kono, say, Yosia cares at the law of local Nilan is here. Kunesa de Niyamu is Kenya, Tila is all. Malabon Yogan has shown. Kitaya Niyamu is all over Gulu. Kitay must you review songs in Dazra. Near a Sugan. Deep in your show, I do that over the so to do it lower. You are a child, catching the share. The great CTR says in your look. Jonas was seated. Shown to Sesson in the Yona. The jungle said that the Yona for video Yoga as you read. The water you guitar at time of it. You did a low pieces as a low piece of a chair. Yan Yaya kiss it on the road. Get a chance of the other. The letters are pretty poorly, maybe a juicy was similar level. Pure letter by you did it, says as a utterly. The letter was Kenya. You had to go, juicy was here, a pillar lily. Pillar lily, Jan and Udiri Tazia lily. That's a these are the way they take a sure that they were. You would the other so that it's only little for a little for a camera. Take up in your chin and clear as our power. Clear as our Loni family take it up. Konatatatia Sanda, Dashibaya, Shiniam, the other. A little adult Kaka Buria Asakune, Chida Kafu, Eladiado, second name of Shinia. A little Lucia. Manibo, you did a little disease of the little desolation. When I saw you, I feel it.
Satachakirya is when the preceding moment of awareness is followed by another. The preceding and the succeeding ones are successive. And this is because of ardent effort. Sayadawgyi said yesterday, he spoke about effort in 3 stages. The initial effort, and then stepped up effort to overcome obstacles, and successive effort that goes up progressively until one reaches the goal. One needs to have this effort and to develop it stage by stage. And this is called arata virya, developed effort. One relies on a good spiritual friend, and then under their guidance develops the 3 stages of effort. So when they are developed, this is called arada. So one who, arada viryo, is one who possesses this courageous effort that has been developed. And it is said, arada viryo bhikkhave. Sukhan viharati, dwells happily. The one who possesses this courageous effort that has been developed. such a person dwells happily because starting with laziness, no defilements can enter the mind. The mind is clean and free of fault. This being free of fault is called anavajja. And to the extent that the mind is free of fault, then there's sukha vipaka, a pleasant, happy result. So this person dwells happily because it is said, paviveto akusalehi dhamehi. This, because one dwells free of the low and base akusala dhammas. So papa kehi. Papa means lobha, dosa, and moha, greed, hatred, and delusion, both on a refined level, on an obvious level, and on a gross and out of control level. Whatever grade of kilesas they are low and base. Feces is feces, and no matter whether there's only a little bit of it or a lot of it, it smells. And this, what is called papa, these qualities of lobha, dosa, and moha, these are low also, no matter how much there is of them. But this papa is also akusala dhamma. Akusala is the opposite of kusala, the opposite of what is wholesome. So it is low and base. And it is said that the one who has developed the 3 stages of effort is free of this paviveto. They dwell separately from these. That means that in one noting, there's 1 moment's worth of being free from unwholesome dhammas. And although 1 observation, 1 moment of noting the object does not have much energy, when 1 clean moment follows another and another, when these moments become continuous, then amazing energy develops. So when one has reduced these unwholesome low dhammas, papa, akusala dhamma, to 0, then one dwells happily. And there is a method to do this, to rid oneself of physical defilements, of transgressions by way of body and speech. There's the method of sila, morality. And to rid oneself of the defilements that arise in the mind, note at every arising, guard the mind always with vigilant mindfulness. One uses the method of practice to guard one's mind with sati. So one who wants knowledge does this. And if one wants to eliminate the very roots of the kilesas, of the defilements, then one works to develop knowledge stage by stage, knowledge of what really is there. There is nama and rupa, mind and matter, and these are related as cause and effect. They arise and then pass away. If one works to develop the practice and comes to see what one has learned from a theoretical standpoint, then it is said that one fulfills, one fulfills one's own benefit. One does one brings to fulfillment what is beneficial for oneself. So that is what is said in the text. And when one does this, when one develops knowledge stage through stage, to bring about full benefit, then one will have the upper hand over all the kilesas, over the mental defilements, the transgressive defilements, the obsessive ones that arise in the mind, and the dormant ones that are latent. And for those who practice, who develop the practice, this passage that Sayadawgyi just mentioned describes their experience. So to bring about these benefits, no instruments are used. Knowing the correct method, one needs to have faith in it and the desire to gain the results. This needs to be there at the outset. When one practices, one needs to apply ardent effort and accurate aim every second of the time to observe the arising object. And if one does this with respect for the practice and with constant application of the practice, then it will develop as said in the text.
Vipassanaဉာဏ်ဆိုတာကျုံးကျိုးစိတ်ယုံနာတရားတွေရဲ့ရိကလေးဖို့ရိကလေးပြောက်ညီနေပိုင်းရောက်သွားပြီဆိုလို့ရှိရင်တော်တော်လေးအခြေအနေကောင်းလာပါပြီတရားနဲ့ကုသုံးပြောပြပုံသိနေတော့တဲ့နီးနဲ့ဓမ္မနဲ့ဓမ္မဉာဏ်နဲ့ဉာဏ်ပေါ့လေအကြောင်းကြည့်ပြီးဆက်ဆက်ပြီးတော့နေရတာဒါစင်စစ်မပြဖြစ်နေတော့တဲ့နီးနဲ့ဖြစ်နေတော့တဲ့နီးကတော့ဝိရိယပါပဲမနည်းပြောခဲ့တဲ့ဝိရိယပဲစာပြုကျိုးပါအထောက်မှုတစ်စင်တိုးကျိုးပါအထောက်ပြင်းမှလုံးမြောက်ကျိုးပါအထောက်မှုအစစ်စစ်ကျိုးပြီးကျိုးပါအထောက်မှုတဲ့ဝိရိယပဲအဲဒီဝိရိယ၃စိတ်ပြည့်စုံလို့ရှိရင်ယုံနာသင်္ခါရတရားတို့ရဲ့တရားရင်းနဲ့ဂုဏ်ဆုံးပြောပြပုံလေးအလိုလိုသိမြင်လာတော့ပါပဲတမင်လို့ဖို့မလို့ဒီမှာဝိပဿနာအဓိပ္ပာယ်ပဲကောင်းကောင်းနားလည်လာမှာပါပဲဒီတော့ယောဂီရဲ့တာဝန်ကဖြစ်တိုင်းမှရှိတတိပြုဆိုတာဒါပါပဲပေါ်ရဖြစ်တိုင်းမှရှိဒီပြုစောင့်မှုအစဉ်ထားကြတာမြဲတမ်းဆောက်ရှောက်ပြီးတော့မှတ်နေရမှာမရှိလို့ရှိရင်ဖြစ်ခွင့်ရှိတဲ့ကိလေသာတွေဟာအားဆိုင်ပြီးတော့ရှုတဲ့အခါကျတော့ကိလေသာတွေစင်ကြယ်သွားတာပဲဉာဏ်မှုတွေစင်ကြယ်သွားတာပဲမနာတာရှုရင်ကိလေသာတွေဖြစ်ခွင့်မရနာရနေလို့ရှိရင်ကြားရမှာနားတဲ့အချိန်မှာကိလေသာတွေဖြစ်သည်တဲ့ဒီလိုယောဂီကငါတို့ရဲ့တာဝန်ကစိတ်ကနေမလတ်ပေါ်လေကိုယ်အနေထားကဘယ်လိုပဲနေနေထိုင်နေပဲနေနေထပဲနေနေတရားကိုလှဲပဲနေနေလမ်းပဲလျှောက်နေနေလက်ရှိကြောင်းရှိလို့ကိုယ်နေနေဆက်နေနေဘယ်လိုနေထားနိုင်နေနေအားဆိုင်ပြီးတော့ချိန်သားကမှတ်နေဖို့သာငါတို့ရဲ့တာဝန်ပဲဆိုတာပေါ့လေတာဝန်ကြီးယူတည်တည်လုပ်နိုင်လို့ရှိရင်တော့ဒီယောဂီကတပတ်အတွင်းကိုထူးခြားလာတတ်ပါတယ်တတိနှစ်ပတ်ဆိုရင်တော်တော်ထူးသွားပြီတတိသုံးပတ်လို့ဆိုရင်တော်တော်ကိုဥပဒနာဉာဏ်လေးပြည့်စုံလာနိုင်ပါလေအဲ့ဒါအတွက်အမခံပါတယ်သို့သောယောဂီတွေဘက်ကတော့ယူတည်တည်လုပ်ဖို့နဲ့စိတ်ဆက်ဆက်လုပ်ဖို့ကတော့တောင်းအပြည့်ရှိရမယ်အဲ့လိုဆိုအမခံတယ်
Vipassana knowledge if one reaches the point where one can see how mind and matter, which are related as cause and effect, arise and then pass away, then one's situation is very good. There's a method to develop this ability to see how mind and matter arise and pass away. And this is to observe moment by moment without any gap in between. So this method of making our observation constant, the method is virya, or these 3 stages of effort that Sayadawgyi mentioned yesterday. The initial effort to start the practice, the stepped up effort that is needed to overcome the obstacles and difficulties, and then the progressive effort that continues to advance until one reaches the goal. This is virya, these 3 levels. And if these 3 levels are completed, then one will see how mind and matter arise and then pass away in a very fleeting way, a very fast way. And one will understand the meaning of the word vipassana. The yogi's task is to observe, to note at every arising, always guard the mind with vigilant mindfulness. If one doesn't observe, if one doesn't note, then kilesas have the potential to arise. But with observation, the mind is kept clean. These kilesas don't have the chance to arise. The mind is kept clean when one observes. And when one takes a break, when there are gaps in the observation, then defilements can enter into the mind in those gaps. So the yogi should understand, should think to his or herself, my job is, no matter what situation I'm in, no matter whether sitting, standing, lying down, walking, due to some reason or another, bending or stretching, my job is to apply effort and accurate aim, to observe the object. And if a yogi works in this, like this, in 1 week, the Dhamma will become special. What they experience will become special. In 2 weeks, this is sure to happen. And in 3 weeks, one can certainly develop Vipassana knowledge to completion. But, so Sayadawgyi guarantees this. However, the yogis have full responsibility to work respectfully and constantly at the practice. And if they do, then Sayadawgyi can guarantee that this will happen.
Sisuk Puelo, a few Mushi to David Yana put that Hina Wuria for Hina Wuria. So you are not a Wuria she to not go with a Wuria don't say for them. Eddie Poco, ha. Better the world she will say, which ye say that you have. I don't know too much in Asia than that. Could you go see what one now level? Do GMS with a body, second that the letter of what I was. The people really, second level. Could you go see what now level at Tiari, a chilly penny Lucia, a chilly Sudan in a second pegana, second. Lu Taiwan man Mishiro. Bruama Mapano Poco. A little bit about it. I want to put it to a break away. Don't come with a tea. When I will at Tonse, Machine appeal to the Poco. Don't come with it since the other day. Go on, let's see, 8 let's see. Yelling, let's see, tiny, let's see, everybody. A year ago, leave your luma, Sayadaw she would do her. She's the other day. She's the idea is a barrow, no sir. Walking on Papa, absolutely dummy. Papa, when I lowered the body, pleasure killed. The Gargalo of the city, the Garlo is she tell her. The Garagala city is to Mundura city. She needed to tell at the time like 10 years. The Garagama made a city, time like 10 years. Same up here like a Surya, take a Yan Dolly, 6 Yan for the Papa Dolly. Then she will have sent Matansim out to the jet on Eddie Gordiari, Edda walking or your tribute or Madame Chevrolet, your tribute, Kidney, where to come with a tea. Seniors on near there, that's over. Edo Nemara, the Josie was him, I said. The Lale Medori, 16 year old Medori, a deep in that of Poe. Me a Josie Wari level, Mapiro, good era level, social one and Mare Gavabo, Amyasu, Ludaria, Kujukusi Wari, social media. Era Luyero Chilla is a rich. Kujoko Siwa Nale Vido Kujoko Siwa Pai on Lopo Te Yichivare Purabara on the Mobo Duday Design Paper La Womeso Body Lunet to Lulu Sidata looking Yachivo at the Te Yichivare.
If one doesn't understand one's responsibility well, if one doesn't try to understand it, one should try to. And if one does understand what one's responsibility is in the practice, but when one practices to try to see mind and matter that arise and pass away, if one doesn't make constant effort, if there's no continuity in one's practice, it shows that effort or virya is weak. The initial effort to begin the practice is weak. Or one has started the practice, but no results have come yet, And as a result of that, one gets bored, one gets attacked by sleepiness. And the effort to overcome this is weak. If this effort to overcome the difficulties is weak, then progressive effort that goes up in stages to reach the goal, that won't come. A person who is like this is called kusita. And kusita, it's explained as hinaviryo, that it's one who has reduced effort, one who has dropped their effort. And if a person doesn't make effort in undertaking what is good for themselves, then they'll be criticized by those around them as that person doesn't understand what is good for him or herself, having the opportunity to practice but not undertaking it energetically. Someone will be criticized for one's laziness. And someone who's criticized by those around one like that, a lazy person, one who doesn't make effort in the areas where one should, is not someone who will be able to make friends. So it is said that kusito bhikkhave dukkhaṃ viharati, that a person who doesn't make effort dwells in misery. That means that no matter what their posture is, whether they're walking, lying down, sitting, standing, they dwell in misery, dukkhaṃ viharati. What does it mean to dwell in misery? It is said, vokeno papakehi akusalehi dhamehi, that the base and low dhammas, the defilements, occur in turns. Greed occurs, and greed occurs increasingly. Anger occurs it on a small level or on a large level, and stupidity, confusion occurs, increasingly going out of control. And the mind is low, degraded by these things. And this is what is meant by papa. And the mind is also, these factors are the opposite of what is clean and pure, so they're called akusala. And it is said, wokeno, that one is mixed up with these, one is entangled in these unwholesome dhammas, and therefore they dwell in misery, dukkhaṃ viharati. They forget about keeping sila, keeping morality. They forget about developing concentration, samadhi. And developing panya is even farther away. So they lose what is to their benefit. And people of the world are doing this. If one is human, then it's very important to bring one's own prosperity to fulfillment. And being a human, that means to be a true human, to have a humane mentality, and being human, to develop a special type of human knowledge. This is very important.
America piyashin tiyoga kabadu kabadari ha miya apyan esju kaum chusa chada miya bari chau pinya taita bari kaum chusa chada bari dawe melo nalong yi kore kuji tiya taita ro napuya piat chaniသိတယ်မကောင်းဘူးစိတ်နဲ့စိတ်ထားတဲ့နေရာမကျဘူးဒါတော့အကျူညံ့တယ်အကျူမပါဘူးတချို့အကျူပါတော့မပါတော့နှလုံးရည်ကောင်းမှုရာအတွက်ပေါ်တယ်တော့ပြောတော့ ဒီလိုအိမ်ကျူကြီးဥစားပြေလုံးအားကြည့်တော့ငယ်ငယ်ရွယ်စပြီးတော့ပေါ့လေအိမ်ကျူတော့ကောင်းရတယ်ဤကျူကမပါတော့ငယ်ငယ်ရဲ့ကိုအကျင့်ကြီးပြည့်ကြတယ်ငယ်ငယ်နဲ့လိမ်ဆက်ဆောင်မှုအစပေါ်လေးအကုန်လုံးတကဘာလုံးတော့အပြည့်ပြည့်နေပါတယ်ဘုရားသာသနာထုံးကားတဲ့မြန်မာပြည်လည်းပဲအခုအကျင့်ပြည့်စရှိလာပါပြီတကဘာလုံးကဒီတိုင်းလို့ဖြစ်သွားပါပြီIQ သိအရေးကြီးပါတယ်ဘုရားတော် IQ တော့မသုံးကျင်ဘူး SQ လို့သုံးကျင်တယ် SQ ဆိုတာ S ကတော့စိတ်ခါဒီလသမာဓိပညာဒါပါပဲစိတ်ခါအကြီးတွေးတွေကောင်းဖို့တဲ့ဒါဥစ္စာပြရမှာပါဒီနေ့ကိုလိုမနဲ့လည်းဆွေးနွေးဖို့ပါတယ်သူသဘောကျပါတယ်သဘောပေါက်ပါတယ်သူကတော့အစီအကျကောင်းမှုသာသူတတိပိဋကဘာဝနာတရားအထုတ်လို့ရှိရင်အစီအကျလေးသိကောင်းတာတတ်ပါတယ်အခုအနည်းဆုံး၅ပါးသီလ၈ပါးသီလဆောက်တည်ပြီးတော့နေရတော့ကိုယ်မှုနှုတ်ပေါ်လေးတွေစင်ကြဲနေတာတန်ရှင်းနေတာဒီအကျိုးလေးတွေနားလေတော့ဉာဏ်တို့တဘုထားပါလေမကလေးကောင်းလာပြီဓမ္မနဲ့ဓမ္မဆက်ဆက်လာပြီဆိုလို့ရှိရင်အပြင်းလောက်မမြောက်သွားရဲ့မဲ့ရုပ်ရည်တော်လေးစိတ်ဝင်စားလာပြီအားထုတ်လို့ယုံနာပိုက်ချတဲ့ပိုက်ချတိတဲ့ပဲရောက်လာလို့ရှိရင်ပို့ပြီးတော့စိတ်ဝင်စားစားပြုလာပြီဒီမှာတစ်ဆက်ဆက်ပြီးတော့အားထုတ်လို့ယုံနာတရားတွေအကြောင်းနဲ့ကျိုးဆက်ဆက်ပေါ်လေးကိုယ်ရည်တည်လာပြီဆိုလို့ရှိရင်တော်တော်လေးကိုနားလည်သွားပါပြီယုံနာတည်တော့အတ္တမဟုတ်ဘူးဆိုတာပေါ့လေအတ္တမဟုတ်ဘူးဆိုတာပေါ့လေစိုးမဟုတ်ဘူးစိုးလည်းမရှိဘူးဆိုတာနားလည်သွားတော့ကျောင်းနဲ့ကျိုးသူကျောင်းနဲ့ဒီကျိုးတည်သွားပြီဆိုလို့ရှိရင်အကြောင်းနဲ့ဖြစ်တာမဟုတ်ဘူးအကြောင်းနဲ့ဖြစ်တာအကြောင်းနဲ့ဖြစ်နေတဲ့ယုံနာတရားတွေဟာဆရာအကြောင်းကြောင့်ဆရာအကျိုးတွေဖြစ်နေတာမဆိုင်တဲ့အကြောင်းစိတ်ကူးကြောင်းတွေမပါဘူးဆိုတာပေါ့လေအဲဒီလိုဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ခရီးတာခေါ်တဲ့ဖန်ဆင်းရှင်ယူသွားတယ်လို့ပြောသွားတယ်လေဝလည်းမရှိမှရှိရတော့အဲ့ဒီအရှင်းတော့ရောက်သွားရင်ပဲတော်တော်လေးကောင်းလာပါပြီအဲ့ဒီအရှင်းတော့ကတော့ယူသေးသေးအထုတ်မယ်ဆိုရင်တပတ်တည်းတွေ့နေပါလေဗျာယူသေးသေးအထုတ်ပါအစီအစအထုတ်ပါဒါလေးတွေ့လာနေပါတယ်တော့ဘုရားအစပြိုးတယ်ဆိုတဲ့ကောအခြေခံရမှာကြက်ခဲတွေ့လို့ရှိရင်နောက်မဆုတ်ပဲနဲ့အဲ့ဒီအခက်ခဲကိုကြော်တဲ့အထိပေါ်လေဘုရားအရှင်းတိုးပြီးတော့အထုတ်ကြည့်သမှာအစစ်စစ်တိုးအောင်အထုတ်ကြည့်သမှာကျောင်းနဲ့ကျိုးဆက်ဆက်ပေါ်နေအကြောင်းရင်းတွေ့ကြတော့ပါလားတရားမှတစ်စစ်စစ်အားထုတ်လို့ရှိရင်ရိတ်ကလေးပေါ်ရိတ်ကလေးဖြောက်ခတ်တွတ်တွေတွေ့လာမှာကောင်းကောင်းကြီးနားလည်လာမယ်အဲ့ဒီပိုင်ရောက်လာပြီဆိုလို့ရှိရင်စာထဲမှာဆိုတဲ့ဥပဒနာဉာဏ်နဲ့ဥပဒနာဉာဏ်ဖြစ်ပြီးအဲ့ဒီဥပဒနာဉာဏ်ဖြစ်လာလို့ရှိရင်အဲ့ဒီဥပဒနာဉာဏ်တစ်ဖြည်းဖြည်းတိုးလာဖို့ကြီးကျယ်လာဖို့ပြည့်စုံလာဖို့ချက်အားထုတ်ဖို့ရအရှိန်ကြီးအလိုလိုရောက်လာတော့ပါပဲနောက်ဥပဒနာဉာဏ်ကြီးကျယ်ပြည့်စုံသွားတဲ့အခါမှာတကယ်ချမ်းသာဖို့ဒီအဲ့ဒီချမ်းသာတွေ့တော့မှာပါပဲအမခံပါလေကျိုးစားကြည့်ပါအမခံပါလေအဲ့တော့ဒီနေရာဌာနမှာဥပဒနာဉာဏ်လို့ပြောနေတာ Bale, the Vatana Jana Sarabodi, Dini Edaliki Alo, Saduna Leki, Ponsa Vito Tinjavame.
A learned person in America said that most people try to make their IQ, they try to emphasize IQ, their intelligence quotient. And as a result of doing this, they're, although they give priority to intelligence, the standard intelligence quotient, the measure of their hearts and minds is low. Their mind, they don't have a good mental attitude. They have a low EQ, he said. And this is because of giving priority to IQ at the expense of other qualities. From a young age, their scholastic intelligence is emphasized. And so they gain this, children gain this, but it's not balanced by their emotional intelligence, EQ. And as a result, the morality of youngsters is very low. For example, that all over the world it happens that people have sex when they're young. And even in Myanmar, a country where Buddhism is flourishing, this type of behavior has begun. So EQ, our emotional intelligence quotient, is very important. Sayadawgyi prefers the term SQ. And SQ, S stands for Sekha, or training in Pali. The three trainings are the training of Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, morality, concentration, and wisdom. And so SQ is something we should give priority, making our own these abilities good. Sayadawgyi discussed this use of the term SQ with Dan Goleman, who developed the idea of EQ. And Dan Goleman agreed. And he said that if one practices Satipatthana practice, then one's SQ, one's Sekha quotient becomes very good. So when one keeps at least the 5 precepts, then one's physical and verbal behavior are clean and pure. When our noting, our moments of observation are continuous, when we've overcome laziness, then the yogi becomes very interested in the practice. And when it comes to discern mind and matter, nama and rupa, the yogi feels even more interested. So when one continues to practice from this point of discerning mind and matter, one sees how they are related as cause and effect. And then one understands quite well that in this mind and matter, there's no soul in here. There's no self or a soul. When one understands how things are related as cause and effect, also one knows that things don't happen without cause. Mind and matter occur due to relevant causes. And then the belief that mind and matter are created by a creator is dispelled. When one reaches this stage, then one's situation is quite good. And it's possible to reach this stage in 1 week with respectful and continual practice. So one has to have an initial foundation of virya. One has to have the initial effort. And then, when one meets up with difficulties, one has to increase one's effort. And then, going forward, one will come to see cause and effect within a few days. From here, when one continues to practice, one will come to see how mind and matter, which are related as cause and effect, arise and pass away quickly. So then one will understand very well. And this is where Vipassana knowledge starts. So when Vipassana knowledge has begun, then to make it increase bit by bit, gradually, to bring it to maturity, to bring it to full development, one has momentum. And when Vipassana knowledge becomes complete, one will experience peace. Sayadawgyi guarantees this. So at this time, we are using the word Vipassana knowledge. What is Vipassana knowledge? Today, Sayadawgyi would like to explain this from the standpoint of theory and practice.
Buddha Methwara, Sayadaw Shiri, Yudhiya Nandiyari, Eri Yudhiya Nandiyari, Jauman, Jauna Kitty, Jojo the kissing Yilu, the river holder. Eri Jojo kissing Yilu Nandiyari, people of Kitty, I did a move. The Ganaji joke with her. Joke with us, a wavy of the daughters of Magona. Magona the war. Though Dari of Shia on a Jalo Lavia. Go to Michiari, Kipu, John Tyson, Kiko Lava, go to Chiari, wavy of Dari Kipa, don't Lavia. But you are my little Mokina. Manyeri, Magona, Gong, so I wanted to look at me. There are another look over there. You and the other Lisa took another look over there. A good year should have Sura. Fort had a time of tea out. And never, she ever to the water to ship of body. She has so net, a chain is so never. She did a young Vipassana and young look over that. Don't I dinner, Mara Jura level, Popo, you took forever. Political and Magona river. Little she has so net, Timina. The Baba Diari, she has on the Timin and Yango. Vipassana and Yana look over that. There are Chigas of the Nomi Jaluchi. The Baba Lekana, Tamia Leka. The Gita Lekana, Tamia Lekana, Edari, Sabina Leti, Ponsabi of Jovame. The Baba Lekana, a Bali, the Gita Lekana Surabale, Tamia Lekana Surabale, Suraboni. Yogi Ato to twist Harihan and Ponsabi. The Bobo Nali of Jopjavame. The near Edari Secular Miarabu, the chain net of it. Nonly Jama. The Baba Tingata Tamina Toma Lekana Suraboli. The Baba Surapa, Tingata Surapa, Tamina Surapa, Suraboli. Kojan Sipabi, 6 of Jovame. The near Naisi Dorapolo, the near Veja also.
The Buddha said that the mind and matter, nama and rupa, that are in our being, they are not without cause. They are a big stream of cause and effect. And this big stream of mind and matter, which is related as cause and effect, does not stay. It doesn't stay the way it, when it arises, it does not stay that way. They arise and then pass away. They are born and immediately die. Thus, they cannot be called good. They are unsatisfactory. But one can't prevent it. One can't stop it. When the causes are there for something to happen, that result will occur. So one can't say, don't occur, don't happen, if the causes are there. It's a completely impersonal process. There's no self in it. It's not, and thus it is anatta. So it is not permanent, it is not good, and it is not controllable. And thus the Buddha said that this stream of existence is anicca, impermanent, dukkha, not satisfactory, anatta, without an inherent self. The practice is to see how mind and matter are not permanent, to see how they are not satisfactory, to see how they are empty of any self. The knowledge which is able to see these aspects of mind and matter is vipassana knowledge. Stiffness and tension arise and then pass away. They aren't good. They happen on their own. And the knowledge which can see true nature in its various aspects is vipassana knowledge. Tomorrow, Sayadawgyi will begin by speaking about sabhava lakkhana, the natural characteristic, sankata lakkhana, and samanya lakkhana. Sayadawgyi will talk about what these things are. What is the natural characteristic? What is the compound characteristic? What are the common characteristics? And he will describe these combining what the yogis experience with what is in the text. But there isn't enough time to go into this today, so he will speak about it tomorrow. That's all for today. Sadhu, sadhu.